Welcome back to another episode of Fanalysis 101. I am your host, your boy Magic. With me, the one and only GB Greg Burnham. Welcome to episode 2. We've got stuff to talk about today. It is trade deadline eve in the NBA. We are days away from the Super Bowl. We are a few weeks away from spring training. Hockey is hitting a fever pitch. There is a lot going on right now. But the big talk, we're going to go, before we go actually into the big talk, we're going to do a little tie-in to our live stream from Sunday. And first, we want to thank everybody who's listened to episode 1. We want to thank everybody who joined us on the live stream. Shout out to the homie Ish. Shout out to Select Screen, Unique DNA, Josh Patrick, everybody, that came on, showed love, shared it. Much appreciated. Can't wait to have y'all on pre-Super Bowl on Sunday. 5:30, we're going early. We're going to do normally 5:30, an hour before kickoff or whenever the official Super Bowl starts. So now that we've got that out the way, NBA trades. It has been, it's been wild. So we're gonna go into some little ones because they deserve a little mention, and then we're gonna talk about the big ones, not outside the Luka Doncic move that we talked about on live Sunday. So we've had some small deals here, particularly with, here we go, Sacramento traded for Jonas Valanciunas with the Washington Wizards, who also traded Kyle Kuzma to Milwaukee in exchange for Chris Middleton. Washington seems to be cleaning house. And if you look at that team, not surprised. You surprised at all by Washington cleaning house?
No, I've been saying it since the season started. They need Bub Carrington, I think, can be a hooper. He's already shown him kind of an elite pro, scoring game. Koulibaly, the kid from France, not the center, but the guard. He's nice, super athletic. And then Sarg has been slowly progressing.
Right.
So I think I think it was good to get off of Kuzma. I don't know if they can get off Jordan Poole, but I think it's good to get off of him too. And I'm gonna tell you this, mark my words.
Okay.
AJ Johnson. I watched him a few times in Summer League.
Okay.
He's the kid that Milwaukee wasn't playing. He's 20 years old. They sent him to Washington. I think he has star potential. He pops off the screen when you watch him play.
Okay.
I think he's about 6'5", really athletic, can play the point, and he loosey goosey, man. I think he has some star potential. So I can see it. OKC, I think probably is the best example of a team building with youth. You get some promising young players.
Absolutely.
And you stick with them and let them grow together. And now we see what we have with them. So I think it's definitely good. I like Jordan Poole. I liked Kuzma before. But if you click onto those games, man, it'd be looking like a clown show sometimes. Like the shots, the
shot selection is horrific.
Yeah, stuff you're doing, bro, that ain't, it's cool sometimes when you make it, but nah. So I feel a little bit bad for Chris Middleton, but he signed that contract, and his knee, ankle, it's just a lot. So,
he's been constantly hurt since that contract.
Yeah, so
he hasn't been available, and when he's been available, he's been mid, No pun intended.
He's not.
He's been.
You did there.
That wasn't the point. I was not trying to make a pun. But unfortunately, Chris has been mid.
Yeah, he
since
doesn't have like the burst, the quickness like he used to be really good, like probably second to KD as far as like pop, get to your spot, pull up. He's not able to get people off of him.
Yeah, that first step that helped him create the separation is not there.
Yeah. So but I will say I'd rather him be the veteran in the locker room than say a Kyle Kuzma. And this is not me hating Kuz. As a Laker fan, I loved him. I wanted him, I wanted them to stay. I wanted them to develop him. But it's just like you got to DC, and whether you scoring 30 or 8, it's the like the impact is the same. And I just feel like guys who don't realize and then try to figure out how to have more of a winning impact, it's like, but he might be good with Milwaukee with the stakes up,
Possibly.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. I wish him the best. I think there's some talent there. There's some real talent.
Oh, talent is not the problem. It's going to be, can the pieces fit? Can he fit in? With Giannis and Dame and the rest of that squad. That's going to be the true key.
Right, and like real talk, like if he can do a little bit of what he did for the Lakers in that bubble chip year, where it's not just scoring, it's, rebounding, defending, just hustling, being an energy guy, it might really help the Bucks.
Yeah, there's potential there. We also had the New York. I don't think that was confirmed. The Pelicans traded center Daniel Theis and draft compensation to OKC. We had the Celtics trading guard Jaden Springer and their 2030 second round pick to the Houston Rockets.
Ooh. For what?
I guess they're exchanging heavily protected future second round picks. The Sixers sent KJ Martin and 2 second round picks to the Pistons for cash, so that now they are the luxury tax for this season, coupled with the Caleb Martin, Quentin Grimes trade with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, I think so. The Tice one was eye-opening to me. To me, that means Chet might not be coming back this year.
Right.
Or if, maybe they're just being extra cautious because he wasn't originally out for the year, was he?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. I have to look that up. But yeah, so I think Tice, which is like a poor man's Isaiah Hartenstein. But Tice can spread the court. He can shoot it a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's a good, a hard playing dude.
He's looked good. He looks good in spurts.
Yeah. And I mean, just the kind of guy, like everybody, still thinking about that monster. Because if you match up with Denver, you're gonna have to play the monster.
Right.
So it's good to have as many fouls
and these fouls as
you can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that one was interesting to me. The Grimes for Caleb Martin one was definitely interesting for me. Watching Dallas last night, of course, AD didn't play. Max Christie played, but watching them, and when it got down to the end, Philly's like, we're going to load up on Kyrie, double him, push him, whatever, hold him, grab him. And then we needed somebody else. I said they needed somebody else to make a play. And it didn't work out. Najee Marshall took the challenge, but, he didn't work out. And it's just one game. But they do. The one thing, I was a fan of the Martin twins in college.
Yeah.
And I think Caleb is the kind of guy where if you instill confidence in him, we saw what he did with the Heat,
right.
in that finals run. So I think that's a good, that can be another guy who can make decisions. And also, you got to have those guys that can be good defense. And so we can see, we're going to see. I don't know what Grimes does for Philly, but I think Caleb Martin is a solid pickup for Dallas.
Absolutely. Then we go to, so nothing has happened yet, but the Kevin Durant rumors are still swirling. KD has expressed that he is not interested in a reunion with the Warriors.
Yeah.
So the Warriors as an option were off the table for KD, which spurred them to move forward in a move to acquire Jimmy Butler from Miami. Jimmy Butler trade has sent him to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, and Kyle Anderson. This trade is a multi-team trade as it is sending Schroeder to the Utah Jazz. Kyle Anderson.
Come on, I didn't know that part.
Kyle Anderson is going to the Toronto Raptors. PJ Tucker, who was just acquired by the Jazz from the Clippers, is heading back to Miami. What else? What did I see here? I think those are the details. I could have swore earlier it said that the deal, someone was going to Detroit as well, but maybe I read that wrong.
So Danny Ainge is a psychopath.
Took a screenshot. Oh, so the deal also includes the Pistons, which the Warriors, Lindy Waters III, and Josh Richardson are heading to Detroit.
All right, so let's get this out of the way. Danny Ainge is a psychopath.
No, we know that.
He has, they just got Jalen Hood-Schifino from the Lakers. They drafted Isaiah Collier, who's from here, and he's actually, put himself into the starting lineup now. Colin Sexton is a point guard playing the two, even though he's really more.
He's a point guard.
He's also from here. You know what I'm saying? We beat them in the state semifinals. Norcross High School. Whoop whoop. But anyway, that was my daughter's senior year. She was a cheerleader. Anyways, so you got those three. You got the Keontae George guy. I don't know if he's hurt this year because I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
You got Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench.
You got Lauri Markkanen.
But I'm just naming the point guards.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. You are just naming the point
guards. And now you bring in Schroeder, and they also traded for another. I can't think right now. They got to be releasing Schroeder or somebody because that's insanity. Like it's too many point guards. There should be a law against that. What do you think about the Warriors? You think the Warriors got better with Jimmy? If you had to lose Wiggins in slow-mo.
See, the thing is, losing Wiggins does not mean anything because he's been also mid since that.
He's been all right this year.
He was better than last year this year, but he's been pretty mid since that finals.
So I think he was going through the stuff, like they didn't release it at the time, but seeing that his father, Mitchell, passed away recently, I think that probably was what had him. Yeah. But no, I get you. I'm just saying like
he's been wildly unimpressive since that finals.
Yeah.
Because me and almost everybody thought, wow, maybe this is what's going to turn Andrew Wiggins, the next 4 or 5 years into like a bona fide star where he is he's a daily impact on every game. He's not going to be the guy, but he's going to be like that number 2 that Golden State needs because Clay is declining and Dre is declining. And so he's going to step up as that new blood, and it didn't happen.
That's fair, but I will say that I think that Draymond punching out Jordan Poole, I think that like destroyed like a lot of team chemistry because you just won a championship and you come back to that mess, and I think a lot of people didn't recover. I don't think Clay. You could just watch them on the court; they just didn't look like. And then, like, I know Steph balled and everything, but I feel like Wiggins was probably the most important player, because he defended, he did like all the stuff in that run.
Yeah,
And
I mean, if you were going to give a Finals MVP to anyone else, if Steph, it would have been Wiggins.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like that, and not to say Steph didn't deserve, because
no, I agree. Steph deserved it, but
it's you know me, man. I value defense, and I value the grunt work, the little stuff that also helps. And
yes,
Wiggins did a lot of that. So
the defense he played
on Luka,
no, the defense he played on in the finals, against Boston. And switching off between Tatum and Brown. Was extremely impressive.
Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie, man. He gave it to Luka in the conference.
Oh yeah, he was cooking Luka.
Remember that dunk? Whew. So yeah, but I don't think that Miami's a good place for him.
You don't think the structure in Miami would be good for him?
Man, I think that structure is doo-doo, man. Like, Bam can score, but Bam don't get to score. I'm liking the Khalil Ware guy.
Mm-hmm.
They recently have put him into the, like they let him start at center, and they're moving Bam where he should have been at the 4.
Yeah.
But it's like Bam can really go, and it's like you got him playing, Bam basically being Magic Johnson, like this, do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I don't think that they fully take advantage of matchups that they have. I think they have a system and they play in it, and oh no, it's not fun for me watching Tyler Hero like freewheeling it, throwing up junk, and then I know that like there's probably 2 or 3 people that can defend Bam, and they got him at the elbow running DHL stuff. like man, get that man the ball, let him work. So.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, I love Bam, but Bam's, I don't know. Every time Bam dribbles the ball, I get scared. I just do. I'm like, he's going to lose the ball. I shouldn't say that. Every time he dribbles more than twice, if he has to dribble more than twice to execute his offensive move, he's in trouble. And that worries me when it comes to crunch time. That worries me, in big moments where they send a double at him and he has to dribble a third time. That ball he's losing it. He's getting tied up.
So stop making him play point center. And
hey, I'm not Spo. I'm just saying when he catches the ball in the high post and he has to take more than 2 dribbles, I'm like, this is a turnover is resulting most
anything.
A turnover or a bad shot is happening, and that's not what you want. And I think that's part of the reason why, because I think Bam's offensive game is the weakest part of his game, and I think that's one of the reasons why they run so much of the offense through Hero.
So I got to push back a little there, because like, who was that? I think it was KD was talking about him in the Olympics, and he was like, dude, this dude got so much more stuff than he shows in games. But you know how it is, like they come in and this is your role, and you try to master your role. And so it's like all this extra, like I seen him, he's been hitting some threes this year. So, but I hear what you're saying.
I mean, his bag in Olympic practice may be deep, but can he do that bag through the 82 game grind without being a turnover machine? I haven't seen it. And if it's the fact that Spo needs to take the clamps off him and say, look, Bam, you've got these abilities. It was seen in the Olympics. Your Olympic teammates said you can do this. You can really do this. You know what? We're going to give you 3 games to
just work out.
Just work it out. Let's see how it goes. And maybe that needs to happen. But from what I've seen the past several seasons, I get scared every time he dribbles the ball. advantages.
I feel you, man.
You know,
let's see if his without Jimmy there. Let's see if he
if he elevates, yeah.
Right now as we speak, he's got 18 and 12 and 4 assists, 8 of 16. He's having a solid game. I mean, looking at the box score.
But see, with Jimmy gone, I would want those numbers higher.
Yeah, but again, it's like shot attempts. Tyler Hero's got 28. He's got. Well, no, I mean it's balanced. They're beating Philly, but of course, Joel doesn't play back-to-backs. So, yeah.
And Detroit lost. Cleveland's a good team.
Yeah.
Detroit lost by 3. K dropped 38, 7 and 9.
Who? How many?
38, 7 and 9.
That's my dog, man. Yeah, that's my guy.
Mobley had 39 and 7. Evan can play, man.
Yeah. No, he's like. I'm glad. I think that was one of the best things I heard when Donovan Mitchell was talking about what's his name, Kenny coming in to coach and saying, we got to unlock this dude because he's not just a stretch four. He's not
just a defensive guy. He's just not a stretch four. Like he can,
and he's strong. He can, he works out. So, I mean, Washington is smacking the Nets right now. Maybe they're celebrating Kuzma being gone.
Let's talk about the Warriors side of this deal.
Okay.
So offline, you said you don't think this is good for the Warriors at all. And I've seen other people in the GDH community also make similar comments that they don't see how this helps the Warriors be better. I'm gonna advocate for the Warriors a bit, and simply of Jimmy. I'm a fan of Jimmy's. I've always been a fan of Jimmy's. He's worn out his welcome in multiple cities. Mm-hmm. However, every time he comes to a city, the initial time is generally it's always been positive.
Yeah,
he's always makes a positive impact. One thing I love about Jimmy is that Jimmy will do whatever needs to be done to win. He doesn't care about scoring 30. If he scores 10 and gets 8 rebounds and 5 assists and hits a key bucket here and there and they win the game, that's all Jimmy cares about. I think that has tremendous value for the Golden State Warriors because I believe he will not fade in the times and areas where Andrew Wiggins would and has outside of that 2019 run. I think Jimmy will be able to defend still at a high level. He will be a danger come crunch time because even though you're not worried about Draymond hitting big shots in the clutch anymore, and we know Clay's not there, Jimmy lives for clutch time. So if Steph isn't being able to get something clean, you do have an extremely clutch player in Jimmy Butler who not only hits clutch shots, gets clutch steals, gets clutch rebounds, makes clutch assists. He's just a clutch player.
Yeah,
I think that is something that the Warriors desperately need and would find if they can find themselves in playoffs, will have extreme use out of that for Jimmy Butler. The problems I see is you've got Dre, Butler, Kuminga. You've got a log jam of these 6'7" forwards, and you still have no true big guy. I don't know who's guarding Jokic, or who's even guarding, AD if you have to run into Dallas. Like you've got nobody to deal with any of the potential bigs that you may have to deal with some of these top teams. And unless you can find a way, Steve Kerr can find a way to really exploit matchup problems, I don't see a deep playoff run should they make the playoffs. But I do believe Jimmy could be very helpful to this team. This is just not a championship winning move.
See, so I start off, I got to say, I love Jimmy. I love everything about Jimmy on the court. Jimmy has been hurt the last couple of years. Now I don't know if that's I hate y'all, I don't feel good, I don't want to play, or if that's serious. But he's had the knee swelling, all that stuff.
Right.
So I'm looking at it from the standpoint of like Steve Kerr has shown me over, especially ever since KD left, that he's not gonna change the way he wants to play offensively at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out where Jimmy, fits in, because Jimmy don't want to be shooting a whole bunch of threes.
That's
He's
not his game.
He's mid range. He's get you in a mismatch, do different things. So it's like I don't even think him and Steph will have a problem, but I think because Draymond really doesn't have anything to offer you offensively besides DHOs and kicking the swinging the ball. Like I don't know. To me, it gets to you got too many of these in between guys. Like Kuminga, he can shoot threes sometimes, but I don't think Steve Kerr has. I don't want to blame everything on Kerr, but I don't think they've put the confidence into that young man. I feel like by now if he was.
If it was going to happen for Kuminga, it would have happened by now.
Yeah. Well, if he was on a different team where like every time I watched him, every time he would get into a flow, like they put him in a starting lineup and he gets into a flow and then they pull him out. Like they just been playing ping pong. And I'm sure this stuff has to do with not letting these guys show too much so you can lowball them when it's time for contracts. But yeah, when I say I don't think it's going to help, like you said, I don't think that team is built. I think Draymond has shown, like, honestly, Draymond one-on-one is probably the best person that I've seen guard Joker. But, he's getting older and Joker is still young. Trace Jackson Davis, I like him. He's athletic. He can block some shots, rim run, but I don't think you can hang your hat on him. We also got
Looney.
Yeah, Looney, he's
solid.
But
we've seen what Jokic does to Looney.
Right.
He's too small.
Yeah, so I just don't like if they were to like switch up how they play a little bit and maybe play more of like a grit and grind type of game, I think they could do something. But I haven't seen.
I mean, I agree with that. And it's like if they take if Draymond becomes primarily a 3-and-D guy,
a D guy because ain't no threes happening there.
But I'm talking like wide open threes. Like I mean, I want him to shoot in a wide open threes in rhythm. I don't want him to pass up on that. I want him to have the confidence to shoot if he's wide open. But if Jimmy takes over the facilitator point forward role, that could be very helpful, save Draymond's energy for more on the defensive end. And even though he may not be facilitating the offense, we know he's still an able enough ball handler and passer.
Yeah,
that the extra passes, the extra skips, will find the right teammate for open layups, open shots. So that could definitely also be an added boost. I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a test of Steve Kerr's coaching ability. We saw that he wasn't able to integrate Chris Paul effectively into that team, and now he's another challenge.
He hasn't been able to, like, they play the way that they play, like, so.
And KD happened to just fit seamlessly within it.
I feel like KD can fit any team, any offense. Like he's just that kind of player.
He's very fluid, right? Yeah. But the other notable players that have come to the team really have not been able to. He has been able to find a way for them to fit into the team. So this is going to be a coaching challenge for Steve Kerr to see what he can do, and can he make this work? Because if they did, then it's a wasted trade. And they sent a whole lot of players away, for Butler. Now, Butler had said that he did not intend to sign an extension if he went to Golden State, but apparently he was blowing smoke because Shams is reporting that Jimmy Butler has signed a 2-year extension. Let me make sure I'm correct on that. Let me hit refresh here.
One day I want to sit in these GM's office to understand what they're thinking. Like if we got a guy who's missing half his games the last couple of years, he's like 35. I just don't feel comfortable re-upping you.
Well, they felt comfortable with two-year, $121 million extension.
Yeah. What? That's crazy. 60.
He is declining, but it says he's declining his 25-26 player option for this new deal.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Yeah.
He declined his option so he could sign this new deal.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
It's a lot of money for 2 years. The Bulls, no trading, but the Bulls have signed Lonzo Ball to a 2-year, $20 million extension. So
that's interesting
because not like Lonzo's going to be on the move despite the rumors.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. It's got to be because why would you? Yeah, I wonder where he's going. I hope the best for that kid, man.
Me too. You know, I really do. I like him. I like him a lot.
So who else? Of course.
Oh, looks okay. Update. Looks like the Miami Heat are working through a resolution with Kyle Anderson because of the portion of the multi-team deal that would have sent him to Toronto fell through. Said Shams. So they're trying to work out something with Kyle.
Bruh, I don't want to be like snapping on cities, but can you imagine somebody telling you you're getting ready to go to Miami and they're like, but you're really going to Toronto?
Yeah. Hey, South Beach, we going to South Beach. No, I'm sorry. No, you're going to Great and White North. You're going to be the next person that Drake is hanging on.
Right.
You know.
Brutality, man.
Yeah, and we still have till 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thursday for the trade deadline to end. Nothing, but and we still have rumors and entertaining, exploring options around Bradley Beal, around Kevin Durant. So there still could be some more potential big moves. Essentially, Windhorse is reporting that everybody on the Phoenix Suns, sans Devin Booker, is available.
I don't know. Like, KD is a phenomenal player, but I ain't letting him create no more super teams, man.
He's also 36 years old.
Yeah, but he still gets you 27.
Yeah, but it's not the
eyes
same.
Closed.
It's not the same.
Still pretty easy.
No, but it's not. I shouldn't say it's not having the same impact.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The impact is not.
The impact is not the same.
Yeah,
and it really hasn't been since that year he almost single-handedly beat the Bucks, and that toe on the line kept them from winning that series.
Yeah,
that 27 has not been hitting the same.
It's not. No, you're right, and I saw it. It made me sad because he used to be such a joy to watch, but it's like he's pulling up. And my problem, I think my biggest problem with him has always been that he's not selfish. Like he's like, if he gets 35, 32, 33, he cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I was arguing with somebody on the Instagram and I had looked it up. Like his career high is like 55. Like for him to be one of the best scorers, like easily one of the best scorers we ever seen, he don't even have a 60-point game. Not one. You know?
But, 60's hard.
I know it is, but it's a lot of lesser guys. I ain't gonna say a lot, but there are some lesser guys.
I was about to say there's not a lot. There's a lot of lesser guys with 50 games. Yeah. Corey Brewer's got a 50 game.
Yeah.
Tony Doak got a 50 game.
He sure does.
Uncle Cliff got a 50 game. Like there's a lot of cats that drop 50 once or twice in their career. But 60, LeBron's only scored 60 once.
Yeah.
And he was gassed at the end of that game. He was so gassed. He was like going to collapse trying to score that 61. I think Mike only has a 60-something, like one or two 60-something games.
Yeah, I just think KD.
D-Rob has the 170-point game. Book has the 170-point game.
Luka has a 70.
Luka has a 70-point game. But like that 60 that's tough, man. I can't because but you think of the other good scores. Like I can't think of a 60-point game. He may have one, but I can't remember Bernard having a 60-point game. And Bernard filled it up.
Yeah, that could be true.
I think
though, if you put 50 on somebody, they was gonna bring out the monkey wrench and the chains, and they was gonna gang fight like beat the hell out.
Right? I think Iceman only has like 3 or 4 60-point games in his career.
But this is KD, man. This dude. Okay, so let me tell you, there's a couple of my issues that I have with him. I noticed, all the way back in OKC, that he really, really protects his he's playing, thinking about his percentages. Like you watch, he doesn't shoot half court, end of the clock.
No,
he does. He
prides himself on his efficiency. Yes.
Yeah, and so that you got a guy like Steph. Steph let everything fly.
Steph. Well, we know Steph letting it fly.
Right, but I mean, a lot of people do, and it's you start looking are you, playing to, for efficiency, or are you playing to win?
Well, see, right now, I don't think KD's playing to win. He's got his 2 chips. He knows that despite the fact that he created, a super team to do it, they can't take that away from him. It's validated him. No one is now really tearing him down or saying he hasn't gotten everything done. The only negative they say is that he went and joined the guy that beat him the year before. But other than that, no one is saying anything negative about KD. So in his mind, with his demeanor, what does he have left to prove? He's not really striving to win. He's not hungry like that. He's not. He doesn't have Russ's hunger. He doesn't have, the hunger that's Jimmy Butler has.
Yeah.
He's chilling. He's getting his buckets. He's being an asset, but he's not having that same impact. Partially because he's not as hungry. He was hungry, and he was still hungry in Brooklyn because he was trying to prove that he could do it again. But now he's at a point where he's like, you know what?
Yeah, I think that just killed. Because it wasn't, none of that was his fault, man.
No, and he almost pulled him from the brink.
Yeah. So I'll give him that, but all that goes to say what you said in the beginning is the impact on games isn't there. Now, if you slid him somewhere like Dallas, who's in the running to be, my favorite team, and you got Kyrie and you got AD, and you need that dude to give, to get the buckets when you need the buckets, like he's done in the Olympics, the last couple of Olympics, all that, I think he'll be fine. But as far as putting the team on his back, I don't see that happening anymore.
See, I would be, if I was Dallas and somehow they swung a move and got KD, I would be concerned. And I would be concerned for two reasons. One reason I already said is his hunger. I don't know how. I don't think he's that hungry. But number two, I don't think Kyrie is that hungry, and I don't think AD is that hungry either. And then the other problem is, to get KD, you'd have to let go of a lot of assets. That's going to weaken you defensively significantly. Where right now, on paper, they are a staunch defensive team.
They got a bunch of
long-rangey defenders who are quick and perimeter defenders. They look like they can lock. They look like they can start. You know what? Yeah, this is a high usage era. You're scoring 80.
Yeah, the only thing is, like I said, man, they need somebody else who can get a bucket in a pinch.
I don't disagree. But I would rather have a hungry team that is going to be going to try to get it than a team that has three stars who can get those buckets, but have been playing pretty complacently. And as much as I love AD, Kyrie, and KD, all three of them for the past few years have been playing pretty complacently.
I gotta push back on my man Burt, because he's made like more of an effort to play through knick-knack injuries. He still gives you a lot on defense to where when he leaves the game, you really can tell. And he's still, I would give a little. I think that being in that situation where, my personal opinion, somebody was not really as interested as winning as, getting their stats and breaking records and all that.
Somebody who scores 16 in the fourth quarter when they're down 20 against the Sixers.
Yeah.
Somebody like that.
I think that, that kind of stuff can rub off, but his motor is still there. And I watch it like on a nightly basis. It's just, I don't know. I've been on, like teams, even when it's like rec league, all that, where it's like, man, we just having fun. This dude about to go out here and try to score 30 every game, and he don't care about nothing else. So I don't know. I think his motor is still there, and that's why I can push back a little. I watched last night, and I watched Kyrie. Like, Kyrie was locked in. But at the end of games, he's a little bit older now, and teams know you can kind of push him around, So that's why, like they got, I feel like you got to have another dude, and I don't know if,
here's the thing: they need a closer, but my thing is, if Clay can shoot and keep people honest, and Kyrie can continue to penetrate, and AD can do what he does, I think getting a KD would kind of create
it'll definitely, there'll be like addition, like offensively will be great, but like you said, energy, you can't have too many old dogs. You got
that's exactly because you're talking about your four biggest names and probably your four best players are all guys that are like Kyrie's 32, 32.
Gonna be 32.
30, 80. So you have two guys that are 32.
30,
Clay's
34, 34.
33,
but
34.
He has the legs of a 43-year-old. Because he went to the finals 5 years straight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Torn ACL.
And then KD's 35, 36. So that is a lot. And we're not talking about, and we're talking about this era. We're not talking about 35-year-old Michael Jordan, or 35-year-old Scottie Pippen. They're not running half court sets. They're not running the triangles. They're not
go. And
they're just going.
Like the amount of pressure it puts on your body to have to play the defense. Because even as bad as the defense is, like, I can admit it's got to be freaking hard to play defense today.
Well, yeah, because you can't do anything.
You got
everything is tailored to the offense,
right? But also, just like these spread offenses, like you could be a center and you might spend 60% of the game, outside of the 3-point line guarding your guy. So it's like a lot of switching, a lot of So you're very wise in your assessment there.
Well, I try.
Now you might be able, because if you put those guys together, that you're talking IQ, you might be able to squeak out a quick one, like a quick championship. But
you're rolling the dice there.
Then your future
on that.
And I mean,
but here's the thing though.
Injury prone.
But here's the thing though. A smaller market like Dallas, you can't really build for the future with that team. That team's success is based on short bursts. They're like the Marlins of baseball. They're not that good. They get a little better. They make some moves. They get a couple stars. They make a big run. They win, and then they kind of fade back into midness. They get another run in them. They make a move. Hey, impact move. Boom. We're a contender. win. Now we fade back into
the
So if they do this, and if they decide to say, you know what, we're going to put this team together, we're going to play to our strengths. We have a guy who can control the ball and the pace in Kyrie. We've got KD who can control the pace with his game. If we decide that come playoff time, we're going to play 90s basketball and we're going to control the pace so much that we're going to score 110 points and you're going to score 90, and we're going to beat you that way by really making you slow down, using our length defensively, and having some of our young guys out hustle you for those extra possessions. They could be very dangerous, provided that the four of them are healthy. Because if the four of them would be healthy, no one can spread the floor like those, because they're all threats everywhere around the court, except for Klay's not driving to the basket. But all the other three can shoot and drive and are athletic. So you can't cheat anywhere defensively.
Yeah. The thing is, like, you're hoping a lot. Like, all four of them are injury prone. Like, KD was out 2 weeks for twisting his ankle in warm-ups. So that's that other part. But
yes, that's the thing, and that's why if you're rolling those dice, you got to roll that hard six and really hope that this team would be healthy enough to push through it. That would be a really tough call to make. And again, like you said, I don't want too much. I don't want too many low-key personalities, and I might be, I might be biased on this. I try to be objective. I was a high-intensity player. I believe in balance, and you've got Klay is very low-key.
Yeah, you do need an animal.
Anthony Davis is low-key. KD is as mellow as they come. Kyrie has some fire, but it's not always there. He can be pretty chill too. If you don't have a high intensity person, that is not you. You need energy guys.
We could get
but kid's not playing. You need that person on the court that is pulsating with energy. And if you got four low keys on the court, they're just chilling, running the offense is normal. No one they would need a Jimmy Butler type of dude who's got that hunger, has got that edge. They don't have an edge. That team, as talented as they are right now, with or with no KD, they don't have an edge guy. They don't have an edgy player. They don't have a chip on their shoulder type of player, and you need that to win. Honestly, if they made a crazy move, they won't, because he's working so well right now in Denver. But if they somehow pulled Russell Westbrook for not much,
then
that would give them an edgy chip on their shoulder guy who could really make a difference on a team like that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. So who else do we have? What other trades did we talk about?
Those are the big ones right now. Nothing else is really coming through. The rest are rumors that are swirling.
Did we talk about how the Spurs may have just created a little bit of a dynasty? Like,
we didn't talk about D Fox. Let's talk about the De'Aaron Fox.
I watched him tonight, and he, like, the jumper looked smooth as ever, getting to his spots. Honestly, Victor was a little unimpressive tonight, if you could say that about a 7'5" freak of nature. But
you can, because it's kind of unimpressive when he's not dominating.
Yeah. And
so before we go into it, just for anyone listening who is not aware, the Sacramento Kings on February 2nd traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs in a multi-team trade that moved Zach LaVine from Chicago to the Kings, and the Bulls receive Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 first-round pick. So D Fox has been a Spur for about 3 days now. Has played. This was his first game with the Spurs, and as Greg said earlier, he's looked good with the Spurs, and the Spurs have a very nice young core. obviously centered around, now Wemby and D Fox plus, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's
Sohan.
Soccer
Right?
Sohan.
There's a
Sohan, who
switch
wants
in
to look
there.
like Robin every game.
But it's Sohan.
Yes, Sohan trying to be the Robin clone. Um, they've got a lot of talent. Old man CP3. And look, to me, if you can get D Fox, now we talked about in the first episode, how CP3 can be mentoring these young guards. If he's mentoring them, plus he's going to help mentor D Fox throughout the rest of this season, that could be fantastic development.
It might
players.
even be a situation where you bring him back next year if he still wants to play.
In like a UD type of, but play sparingly. Not like UD just sit on the bench and getting paid, but like playing very sparingly.
Point guard. Like tonight, he played 30 minutes. That's too many. But he had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Yeah, like that's good. I would like to see Castle starting over him, but I think they're working, working on his development.
And also they're going to have to work out how are they going to play Fox and Castle together at all?
Yeah,
they got to work out how.
Well, when I clicked on, because I went to see the Brutalist, which took 7 hours, but when I got home,
7 hours?
It was like 3 hours and 35 minutes.
Still,
they actually had a 15-minute intermission in the middle of the movie. That's how long it was. Wow. But yeah, so I got home and I knew it was long, but I ain't, you can't be ready until you get there. But anyways, I got home a little bit late, and when I saw them, Castle and Fox was on the court together and they was working out. Vassell, he's the shooter. He's your scorer.
Yes.
Harrison Barnes gave him, some good. Victor, I guess he did turn up maybe after I turned it off, because he ended up with 24 and 12. But
I forgot they had Harrison.
Yeah, so that's what I was laughing at. They got D Fox, and they were able to keep their top 8 players. Like, that's crazy. Like, they didn't have to give up their young studs. Sohan, I love. He's your, Swiss Army knife.
He's your glue guy.
Whatever you ask him to do.
He can do everything.
The Champagne, I don't know why they pronounce it like that, but Champagne, like, he can score, and he's energy. He spreads the court. They just got like Keldon Johnson. They got a nice young, nucleus. Now when contracts come up, I think you're keeping. In my opinion, you make sure you're keeping Wemby, of course, Vassell and Castle. But I want them to keep Sohan too. Like
I think they can keep him.
And the Spurs are really good about creating that family, dynamic. So that team right there, as these youngins grow, they could be problematic for years to come.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to shift gears a little bit here out of trade talk, and we're going to talk a little bit about baseball, because there was some news out of baseball that, to me, it's concerning, and I've been concerned. It was a concern back in the day, and in my opinion, it's a bigger concern now with the acceptable advent of online betting, where ESPN has their own betting app, and DraftKings and FanDuel. So umpire Pat Hoberg has been fired by Major League Baseball for sharing sports gambling accounts with friend who bet on baseball. The MLB had opened the investigation last February when it was brought to their attention by the sportsbook. Apparently, Hoberg did not umpire at all last season while the investigation was being concluded. The MLB is stating that their investigation did not uncover any evidence that Hoberg personally bet on baseball or manipulated games.
Ain't that the same thing they said about Ohtani?
About Donahue? Yeah, they said about
Well,
Donahue.
I was talking about Ohtani last year. Like,
Shohei's
yeah.
translator. Yeah. I was thinking like refs, like they said that about Tim Donahue too. And Commissioner Rob Manfred said Monday he upheld the decision. Among the highest rated umpires that judge in the strike zone, Holberg can somehow apply for reinstatement no earlier than 2026 spring training. The MLB said Holberg's friend made 141 baseball bets between April 2nd, 2021, and November 1st, 2023, totaling almost $214,000, with an overall win nearly $35,000.
Were they games that he was umping?
Doesn't say. They're saying that he did.
And honestly, if you,
they're not going to say, they're not going to share.
And honestly, if you're running it right, not saying that this is right, children, but like if I'm an up and you're an up, like I'm gonna have you fixing games for another thing and have my boy putting it in.
Right.
So, so baseball is the sport where you could get by with not having umps. Like you got they put the box in now so we can see,
the strike zone.
You can have somebody like review. Most calls are clear, but the ones that are close, they already, have people to review them. So, because it is,
but the umps have too much power though,
right?
Like because Angel Hernandez has been a menace in baseball for so many years.
I mean,
and I'm so glad he's gone now. But like, why did we have to go through like 20 years of agony with Angel Hernandez making the absolute worst calls that a blind dog could see? If someone was out or if that was a strike. It's like,
yeah,
I don't understand how he got the job to begin with. It's like, how did you even become a major league umpire?
Ooh, ticker alert! Breaking news: Ant got 49 right. But yes, back to baseball.
Not surprised.
Yeah, man. I think because you're seeing it now, like more information came out about the Jonte Porter, and how stupid they were. Like, I don't mean to call people stupid. That's rude. How unsavvy they were. It's like
the move was stupid. We can be real. The move was stupid. It was stupid.
And I'm like, and he wasn't a player that was going to have like a long NBA career anyway. So it's but it's just the point, man. Like, why? And the stuff that you can bet on, like that doesn't even impact like games,
Yeah, you can bet on everything, like who's gonna have 20 and who's gonna have, like, you don't have to bet on the outcome of the time. You can bet on all types. But also there's a wrinkle to that. So if you're betting on a number of strikeouts, that's going to be easier for a crooked ump to control than who wins and who loses. If you're betting that Aaron Judge is going to go 3 for 5, well, if they're calling strikes balls, or making it so that it's easier for if they're calling a really small, really tight strike zone. So now the pitcher has to really put the ball for the middle of the plate, and Judge hits it, like that is going to be even more easier to connect with and control other than the outcome of the game. So
I just don't know.
I would say for that, that's even a bigger concern.
I just don't know what you can do about it, because I mean, let's be honest. Like, people been fixing games, point shaving.
Oh, forever.
Like forever. Stacey Ogman broke my heart, and I know somebody paid him. Man. I know somebody paid him to sit it down. So,
well, LJ puts it on him.
On who? That's
himself.
What leaders do.
LJ said he wasn't ready to play. He was coasting.
That's what leaders do, man.
Did you think LJ was coasting in that game?
I didn't.
We should watch that game.
We should watch that game.
And we should watch that game.
Point it out. Stacey Allman dogging it.
I love Plastic Man.
Man, I was trying to tell my youngins, man, like you remember when college players were almost as big as NBA, like they were bigger than a lot of NBA players. They might not have been Larry Bird, Magic, but like his name, like the stuff he was doing. Remember the Sports Illustrated dunk, like, man. Yeah, that was tough, man. And then for him to go out like that against Duke, definitely a depressing time.
It's a conspiracy because you know how I feel about Duke. Anything with Duke.
That was straight up junk, man.
Yeah. So that is, it's not a long topic. I have something I wanted to bring up because it is concerning heading into the next season that we have even more additional potential corruption within these major sports with the betting, and it is not it's not okay,
And like I laugh because you can almost tell like people's reaction, like online. You can tell, oh yeah, you had some money on that one, because people are like so irrational, but at the same time, it's like you really want it to be, fair as possible.
Absolutely.
That's why baseball just needs to use robots. That's the sport where you can use robots. And then if you need somebody to switch, like a ball gets scuffed, you got a guy that's standing there that can run out.
Yeah, you have an equipment guy there to check on that and make sure the balls are good and all that stuff.
They were
absolutely.
They were talking about like in football, like some of the stuff. So here's my thing. So that Josh Allen, that where everybody's like he got a first down, but I don't know. Have you ever worked the chains? Like the game?
Yes.
Okay.
Work chains.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
My son played. I had to work the chains sometimes. So you could look like the camera angle, the on the field sideline angle. You can see it's like from behind, so you can't get like a true. It's like going diagonal instead of going straight across. So you can't like looking from that angle. It could look like he got it, but he didn't necessarily get it. I don't know if he got it. I don't think he got it, but I'm a Chiefs fan. But those are other times where they were like you could have a chip on the ball or something like that, and so you can computerize and see exactly where the ball went. Because I promise, like I understand the rule, but sometimes they be to me, well maybe I don't understand the rule. Isn't it supposed to be where the ball is when your knee touches? Or
so it depends on the level of football you're playing. And honestly, which I hate, but spotting the ball is so much up to the ref's own perception. It's pretty much where they see the ball is at the point of the knee or elbow being down. But the thing is, when they see the knee or whatever down, like sometimes to me, it's if they see the ball first and then they see the knee, they tend to spot it more generously compared to when they see the knee go first and then they're looking closer to where the knee is than to where the ball is. Where in like youth sports, I believe it's spotted where the player went down and not the forward progress of the ball. The forward progress of the ball only counts if you're crossing the goal line before, again, but that's before the knee hits. So if the ball crosses the plane, your knee hits down in play, it's still a touchdown because the ball crossed the goal line first. But, so most people, I think in their mind from youth and high school sports, they are thinking where the knee goes down, that's where the spot is supposed to go. And I think sometimes on the higher levels in college and the NFL, they kind of default to that set and they will spot shorter than they probably should. But that's when you're supposed to talk. Like in those situations, and like you're a refereeing crew. There's like 7 of you. This is going to be a close play. So all of you should be focusing on ball, knees down. All right, was it close? Okay, let's talk. What did you see? What did you see? What did you see? Let's make sure we get this call right. Do we have the video? replay. And to me, it sucks to have only one guy who's the replay official, whatever, because then it's up to his discretion. Like,
and to me,
but like they should be talking about that stuff.
And to me, certain stuff
You know,
like I know people are worried about, slowing the game down, but to me, some stuff should be like an automatic review because getting it right to me should be the most important thing.
Thank you. That's not a hard concept to me. But here's the thing. Here's the key thing, G, that separates you and I, listeners of this show, and people who complain about it slowing the game down. You and I watch the games because we love the sport. We're competitors. We want to compete. We want things to be won and lost fairly and honestly. Win, lose, but we want to compete and compete cool. Most of these people watching, especially they complain about length, they are watching to be entertained. Right. They're not watching because they love the game. They're not watching because they have a great appreciation for the athletes. They're not watching. They have an understanding. They watch for entertainment value. They don't want to be entertained too long. They don't want to sit through a 3.5-hour movie like you did. They want to sit through a 90-minute movie.
Those there are facts, man.
They don't want to, they're there to be entertained. So they don't care about the little this and that or fair or unfair. As long as they are entertained and they are satisfied with the outcome of that entertainment, they really don't care because they're not looking at it from a competitor's eyes.
You got it. Oh, and while we're here, I know this wasn't part of the subject, but I need to bring this up. The NFL needs to change a rule. I've seen it happen 2 times this year, and it was embarrassing to me. Like, if you catch the ball and like your foot, like maybe you only get your right foot hits the ground, but you hop and then your right foot hits the ground again, that should be a catch.
I forget what game it was.
The Steelers lost.
Was it the Steelers game?
Lost the touchdown with that, and then I can't remember.
That was I think it was George Pickens who caught the ball.
And it's like
that was highly robbery.
I'm like
high.
And the rule is you have to have both feet now.
Each foot has to. I'm sorry, if I can hop twice on one foot, that is the same as 2 feet.
That's embarrassing. I don't know how. It's like we've never really seen that, or maybe I just it happened and I wasn't paying attention. But I don't understand. Like that's embarrassingly bad, and I really hope they do something about that because basically what you're saying, like, say I catch the ball and you grab my left leg and I'm fighting and I could take 10 steps with my right foot, but if my left foot doesn't touch the ground, it's not a catch. Like that's insane.
If I hop 10 yards on one leg, like, or if I pull a hammy and I burst, if I'm a running back and I burst through the hole and I get past the safety, there's nobody between me and the end zone but grass, and everyone's giving up on the play, and I pull a hammy and I've got to hop on one leg, like
that's a touchdown.
It should be a touchdown.
If you're a running back,
actually no. I forget running back because my feet had touched the ground both. If I'm a receiver and I jump up in the air and I catch the ball and I pop the hammy in the air and I land on one foot and I hop into the end zone 10 yards, that's not a touchdown because both feet didn't hit the ground. And if I fall, like, that's crap.
That's insane, man. And
that's utterly nonsense.
They got it. And it happened twice this year. I can't remember.
Oh, come on, I'm a Lions fan. I'm still mad that they took away the touchdown against the Bears when Calvin caught the ball, fell on his butt, turned, and then used the ball to stand up, and then they called it an incomplete pass. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like every time I see that, like my body feels pain every time I see that ridiculous call. So, like, give me a break.
NFL people, get your lives together, man.
Like, unless, and the Cowboy fans will appreciate
the Dez Bryant one. Yeah.
Dez Bryant, that was a catch. Yeah. I don't like the Cowboys. Dez Bryant caught that. It was
It's all about being fair, man. That was a catch. Now, if something like that happens with the Eagles this weekend, say AJ Brown, catches and he, hops a couple times, that is not a touchdown, and I'm okay with that. Just for next year, going forward, let's get that corrected.
Now, see, I don't think you want that because if that happens, the Eagles fans aren't going to tear up they're not going to tear up New Orleans. They're not going to tear up Philly. They're going to stop in Kansas City on their way back
That's
to
not
Philly.
even on the way back, man.
It's
They'll
back
be
east.
going out of the way.
And they'll burn that city
They
to
don't
the
want.
ground.
I'm gonna tell you this straight up. They don't want it with Kansas City. Like, it's crazy out there.
You Philly Cats, they don't care, man. You saw them hanging off of freaking light poles, man. Philly Cats are crazy, man.
Today, and it really made me feel bad, because my dog is gone. I saw the All-Star when he won All-Star MVP, and they booed him, and that was his home city, man. And he was like, you could see him like fighting tears.
Yeah.
That was like, because I got some really good friends that are from Philly that are Eagles fans. I love them. I was cheering for them, a few years ago when they, went to the Super Bowl. Not the year when they played the Chiefs, but I was cheering for them. But I was like, y'all don't even deserve, like, what y'all did to the baby goat. Y'all don't deserve, Super Bowl over the Chiefs. Patrick,
like, I remember when he did that slam cover wearing his dad's jersey, and all these Philly fans were like, "That's crap. That's terrible. Why is he wearing that? He should never wear that." I'm like, wow, that's his father's jersey. His father played for the Sixers. He went to Lower Merion. He considers Philly like a second home. Between that and Italy, like, what are you talking about?
Wow, man.
Like, you be mad that your team passed up on Kobe Bryant. Don't be mad at him.
I saw somebody, because in the comments, somebody was like, well, he shouldn't have went to play for the Lakers. And I didn't even respond because I'm working on myself to be a better man. Like he drafted himself to Charlotte.
Yes,
and then
he drafted himself to the Hornets and traded himself to the Lakers.
I get it.
Yeah, that's exactly how he did it.
It all made sense. So I didn't even.
And he had called, apparently, like, David Stern had said, no, we really want you to go to Philly. And he said, no, I'm gonna draft myself to Charlotte to make it easier for me to go to LA because that makes a whole lot of sense.
Check this out right here. Now it's backwards here. This is a Hall of Famer, Kansas City Royal, George Brett. It's backwards. Yeah. I got two of these sitting right here on my desk. You know what I'm saying? KC forever, boy. Please.
You got any Bo Jacksons?
No, but I did. I did. So funny thing, in Kansas City, general admission. It sounds so weird now. General admission was left field, and so like as a kid, we was always in left field. I probably went to like 100 Royals games. Like, loved the Royals. But when I got older, Bo got there, general admission, left field. So we got to sit really close and watch him in left field. And I've never seen anything like it. You could.
I can't imagine. I would have loved to see Bo live.
Freak of. I'm talking about when he's just jogging out. Like when he was running for balls, you could hear, like, you could feel the ground, and you could hear like he just like this muscle, just one big muscle. It was an amazing day. So yeah, and it was so funny. These are the stories, man. It was so funny because he was a Chief. I mean, he was a Royal in baseball, and then he was a Raider in football.
A Raider.
So you know who the Chiefs' arch enemy was? AFC West. The Raiders. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you would hate, it's like you couldn't hate him. But you had to hate the Raiders. And then he pop up and go play. It was the funniest thing, man. It was just watching the city be like in crux, like, which way do I go? Which way do I go?
Right.
But yeah, Bo was a beast, man. I don't know how.
He was phenomenal. Speaking of Bo, one of our future episodes soon. Actually, you know what we'll do is we're gonna start putting out polls for listeners, for y'all to choose what topic we tackle next. But one of those topics is going to be that'll be an option, is what happened to the two sports star. Because, we thought that was going to be the evolution. We had Bo, we had Dion, we even had, Danny Ainge playing
Brian
MLB.
Jordan. They always leave my dog out. Brian Jordan.
Right? Brian Jordan. And even guys like T.O. were playing semi-pro basketball while in the NFL. The dual pro athlete looked like it was going to be the wave of the future, and it's something that we don't see at all. So I want to. I think that's a conversation that's worth having. On because every time somebody says to me, today's athletes are so much better, faster, stronger, I'm like, well, then why aren't they dominating in two sports like they were not that long ago?
I wonder,
because to me, if I can make $100 million playing football and I can make another $100 million playing baseball, I'm going to make both $100 million.
I wonder where it went wrong. Was it Charlie Ward? I wonder where it went wrong.
It can't be Charlie Ward because they didn't want to let Charlie play quarterback. That's why he didn't go in the draft.
But
they didn't want to let him.
No, I know, but I'm saying because I don't know. I know they're gonna deter you, right? They're not gonna. And then another thing, I want to do that conversation because another part of it is we grew up playing everything, multiple sports,
everything,
and then it's now these kids are specializing when they're 6,
Yep,
you're going to be a baseball player, you're going to be a basketball player, and they're specializing. And we didn't specialize. And I think I know that helped. Learning how to throw people open in football helped me learn how to, deliver the ball to people in basketball,
Oh, absolutely.
Footwork in baseball, sliding and pivoting, those kind of things. That made, it was second nature when I started. Because I was, if it was up to my dad, I would have been just a straight up baseball player. But, all those techniques, the switching, feet, all that kind of stuff helped me when I learned how to do basketball drills. It's sliding drills and stuff like that was super easy to me. So, yeah.
I'll tell you what my parents did for me, and I recommend it myself, even though I hated it. My parents at 4 years old put me on the wrestling mat.
Mm.
It taught me had to make it or break it on my own. It built up a lot of natural strength, flexibility, and I had to and just footwork, full body coordination, because it's a full body sport. Arms, legs, core, everything. You have to work everything. The only more full body sport is swimming, but it's not a one-on-one. It's not it's a competitive race. It's not a one-on-one thing. It's not a battle.
And
that gave me but wrestling gave me my base for football, footwork, lower body movement, explosiveness. It gave me my base for basketball because I was used to being able to be low. So when I'm dribbling low, I'm used to being low. I'm used to exploding low and centered to the ground. It was just, it helped with soccer because I already had strong legs and endurance because wrestling's an endurance sport. It helped me with track because, again, endurance and strong legs. Everything. And I hated wrestling because I was a big kid. I'm wrestling kids 2-3 years older than me. I'm getting my butt kicked in these weight classes, every freaking open tournament my dad took me to. And it took me a year and a half before I pinned anybody.
But even that in itself, what is that teaching you? Intestinal fortitude. I didn't perseverance. I didn't wrestle, but I got in a lot of fights. And, I always say, if you
wrestling's a sanctioned fight, so I mean.
But I always say, I when I used to, back in my backsliding days, I ain't wanted people that never got in fights to be around me because you don't know what you're capable of. You don't know how your body's going to are you going to freeze up in those moments, or are you gonna, right. So but that also goes to,
it builds your instincts.
toughness, like all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things I feel like when I started seeing that, like, oh, you just play basketball year round. And I also think that leads to like injuries because you're only working certain muscle sets,
Yep.
Instead of like working everything. Like me, my mom wouldn't let me play because of my asthma. She wouldn't let me play football, but I was allowed to play flag football. I still got the mechanics, like the understanding. So I could have been a high school quarterback. I could have been a receiver, could have played defense, whatever. But also baseball, was swimming. You know what I'm saying? We were playing anything. We were, So yeah. I definitely would love to have that.
Absolutely. That's good. That's going to definitely go on the poll. We're going to definitely put that up. I'll come up with some other topics to poll, but we're going to put that poll up. The poll will probably close, we'll say next Tuesday, and so that we can prepare for what we're going to talk about for next week's episode. But yeah, that's definitely one that will be on there. I'll probably be on there a couple of times because it's a conversation I want to have as well. And I think it's important because, like you said, today's kids are not playing multiple sports really. And I agree. I think it's been to the detriment of today's athletes. Yeah. So listeners, thank you so much for joining myself, your host Magic, my co-host, the one and only Jeek, Greg Burnham. This is Fanalysis 101. We appreciate you listening. You can find this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Castbox, Good Pods, and all types of others. You can also watch our live streams on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. Subscribe to us on all of those networks. We appreciate the love and support. Follow us social media-wise. And if you can't, that's Jeek Nation. That has all of our podcasts, Fanalysis 101, original Jeek podcast, Breaking Ring Rust. You can just search Jeek Nation in Apple, and you'll find our channel that has all three shows under one banner. Makes it easier to find all of our content. If you have questions or trouble finding us on your favorite podcasting app of choice, hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, what have you, or email us, jeeknation@gmail.com. Until next time,
and go Chiefs. I'm so scared.
You should be scared of Saquon Barkley.